He's father of 3 beautiful girls, Tiana, Mia and Sienna, who attend Geelong Grammar. Shane spends his time between Melbourne and Torquay when he isn't on a plane and travelling either internationally or nationally around all the different states. He dropped out of university early, but had an incredible vision to build a powerful brand, and that brand being Petstock, which has grown from 0 to 140 stores. He founded in 2002, and 11 years after the family took ownership of the Ballarat produce in 1991, he's now turned it into a powerful brand, both nationally and internationally. He's built the brand with strong family values, which I'm sure he'll talk about, and how this is a real strength in the Petstock DNA. He's a resilient, determined character, which I've seen up close as he's my brother-in-law. I have a lot of respect for how he balances his work and family commitments, as well as challenging himself personally to take on mindless feats like running 60 kilometres through the freezing snow and completing multiple marathons over his time. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Shane, and he can share what he has experienced over the years and take away some great messages from Shane.
Thanks, Mikey, and welcome everyone. So, as Mike said, it's got some great speakers here tonight, so hopefully we can send you away with something. So, as Mike said, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Petstock. Have been in the game for a long time. I'm lucky enough to employ 1,500 people throughout Australia and New Zealand, and I'm also lucky enough to be the owner of the company with my family and some great mates of mine. So. It's been a long journey, an exciting journey, but one of the cool things about that is after 25 years, I'm still fresh and still think that I have a lot to learn. And I think you don't start learning till probably later on in life, and perhaps when you learn a few lessons around great people. So I want to quickly take you back to my roots in my Sanana days, and that's ROUTES. And join and then share with you some great things I've learnt from some great people that I've spent some time with, and what I think is a great trait of entrepreneurs that I love, because there's some amazing entrepreneurs in the world and there's some not so amazing as well. So, and strangely enough, more than half the billionaires in the world are self-made. So I'm really keen to share the stuff that I've learned along the journey. And I travel the world and listen to a lot of talk, so congratulations for coming. And I'm not going to talk forever, and I don't have attention span to take a lot in either. So when I go to these talks, the thing I like to do is I like to take one thing out of it and use it throughout my journey. So, and strangely enough, 3 of the worst talkers I've ever heard were probably the 3 messages I got from the one message that I took. You know, I heard that Martin Snedden in New Zealand, the cricketer, was the longest day of my life, and he spoke about the All Blacks and walking towards the pressure. And we use it within our organisation. I use it with my daughter, I use it with my mates, and I think that was the one, I couldn't wait for this talk to finish, and I've used it ever since. So Sanana was a small town, 3,000 people, 6 kids, 3 bedroom, bunk, single bed. You fought every day, 1 toilet, you fought over the thing, but it was an incredible environment to grow up in. So we lived in the town and owned land just outside of the town, 5, 6, 7, 8 k's. So we call it 15 or 16 now because we used to run it. And we had a lot of sheep. So I, like everyone else, you did the paper round, worked in the fish and chip shop. Then I migrated to the big time and I started selling magazines. So from the local newsagent, so he gave me all the magazines that when they were dated, and my job was to stop all the paper boys from stealing them before they were dated. So then I got to sell them to the rest of the town. So, and that was a good business in itself. So, and then Dad said to me one day, he said, "Hey, listen, if you want to drench all the sheep," he said, "the guy's pulled out. He was going to do it for 100. I'll pay you 50. I said, "Yeah, you're on." Went out, 1,000 sheep, me and the dog, 45 in the shade in Sanana. And the gun was leaking, and Dad called out at morning smoker to see how it was going. He said, "It's going to take me 2 days if you don't get me a new gun." Goes in town, grabs a new gun, comes back out, 3rd sheep in, pulls his head up, massive splinter through the back of my hand, hit the gun on the side of the fence, clean broke it. Took me about 14 hours to drench them 1,000 sheep. Got home that night, pretty pumped, 4 weeks worth of paper round. Dad flicks me 5 cents. The gun was $49.95. I learnt that day, if you lose your cool, you've already lost throughout life. Everything you do, the more you can keep your cool, the better off you'll be. You know, I can remember getting injured on the footy field. Some bloke hit me, I cracked the shits, chased after him, come diving in, done your knee. Every time you lose your cool, you'll hurt. And the cool part about that is, and I coach a lot of senior football throughout country Victoria, and in the first game I ever played, and we got pumped, and I was yelling all day, and I come in, and one of the old legends in the club, he was about 90, and I had a lot of respect for him. He said, "Gee, you speak well, but you yell a lot." He said, "No one's listening to you." He said, "Save that for the special times." And how lucky was I throughout my coaching career to get that after game one and to keep my actual cool. One of my great partners in the business is a colourful character. He's a true entrepreneur in his own right, very generous, which all entrepreneurs are, very generous with philanthropy usually, and also their time. So he is the greatest talker I know. And just recently he said to me, he said, "Shano, no one's ever learnt anything while talking." And I couldn't believe it coming from him. So I've banked that one into one of the great things that entrepreneurs do. So one of the other cool things that I know about the great entrepreneurs and the people that I love is everyone in life has a vice. Everyone. No matter what it is. Here's the cool thing, if you can make it a good one. You know, it's the drugs, it's the alcohol, whatever it is. Somehow, some way, if you can make that vice a good vice throughout your life, you can revert back to it, no matter in the good, in the bad, and the whatever times. And crazy enough, I run marathons. You wouldn't think, because I've got to tell you, there's not many blokes my size. So I run one on Saturday, actually, so in New Zealand. And as Mike said, I run one in the Antarctica in November, and I'm lucky enough to do that, you know. So, but that vice, and you think every time, you think, shit, life, you know, could be better today or whatever. Get out, hit the pass, and it's a great vice to have, you know. So, and I love a beer too, so it kind of balances things out. So I think that's really cool, you know. So, and along the journey, we've been challenged a lot too. Challenged as a family, you know, like, and you think things can be going incredibly well, and then things can turn really quick, and then what happens? And I particularly remember this one day. It was we'd partnered someone on the central coast of New South Wales, and my sister rang me up and said, you know, what do I got to do for these guys to bank up there? And strange enough, every time I rang the store, they used to say, "Oh, he's at the bank," but then he wasn't banking, you know. So jumped on a plane and went up there, and this guy and I, we spoke every day of our life, at least twice, maybe 3-4 times. Stayed at my place, I stayed at his place, went to his birthdays, you know, we were super close. This guy had embezzled us for an incredible amount of money at that particular time along the journey. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands, and we did not have that at that actual time. And I remember going to bed, how that happened, you know, it was incredibly tough. And then we met with the family the next day, and I didn't even know how to tackle it. And I remember sitting there and saying, all right, here's the deal. Right here, right now, as a family, we have two choices. We either get out of bed tomorrow and start trusting people again, or we get out of business. Because the reality is, you can't do it by yourself, and you need great people around you along the journey who you trust and behold. And someone's going to let you down along the way. The sooner, the quicker somehow you can get over that, the better. Revert to your vice, the good vice, to get you actually over that. And that's one of the cool things. And you know, we're a large organisation now, and sometimes you get a bit full of yourself and ahead of yourself. And here's one of the other cool things I love. You can't do it without your mates, your real mates. You know, I have kindergarten mates. One of my great mates' mum's here tonight. She said to me at the start of the night, she said, you know, "I think I'm the oldest one here, Shane." And she's just the smartest. So, because she listens and she's here, you know. So what your mates do is keep you grounded, and they keep you real. And it's amazing within an organisation, if you keep grounded and keep real, how people will respect you. And I learnt that too when I was coaching footy, you know, when you thought you're young and you thought you went all right. One of the great things about any sport, and particularly team sport, is when you get to them senior levels, the thing that I loved and the thing that I missed the most when I left football was not the training, not the games. I miss the fact when you got to those sheds and you could be a doctor, a lawyer, a student, a plumber, unemployed, and when you walked in that door, you all walked in equal and you had to unite to make it happen. And if you didn't unite, you've usually got beat on that day. And that was the cool part about coaching when I started to coach, is how do I unite all these people and get on the one train, you know. And it was amazing what you could do and how you could challenge people to do that too. And I was also lucky enough, the first couple of years I coached terrible teams. So, and I learned a hell of a lot more coaching those bad teams than I did actually the actual good teams as such. So, and that's one thing that I do with my three daughters, is I don't care what they study, what they do, what they play, but the deal is that they must be in a team sport. So they can do an individual at summer, whatever, so they actually must be in that team sport. So that's really critical to what I think. So, and then I packed up my life, went to Ballarat, so it was big time. I moved from 3,000 people to 100,000 people. So, and we bought this business as a family, and I was in administration, and my father worked for Ridley Agri Products and the customers. I mean, so long story short, we ended up buying this business with, we paid $15,000 for this business. I was 19 years old, so I think I sold my car, got 15, and got $100 for my golf clubs, which is an overpay because they didn't work. And I didn't really know, I was 19, and I walked into a retail business, and one of the cool things is, minute one, I love retail, I love the people, I love dealing with people. And then I didn't have anywhere to stay. I'd come from Adelaide to St Arnaud, sold my car, so I had to get a lift. And the first day's taking, that night, I remember taking back to a mate's place, and actually I slept on a mattress and actually had to sleep, and I wrote it up in bed and then put it underneath. And back in those days, there was a lot of checks. There was credit cards with the old swipe ones, you had to wipe them up too, and there was a little bit of cash, so, and you used to have to grab $10 for dinner and bank the rest. So, and that was really cool, because once again, your mates were there, and you never actually forget that. So that's what, so it's along the journey. So you go back to your roots, your mates, the people you're with along the journey, and learn some great lessons from some great entrepreneurs along the journey. So I said earlier on that the best entrepreneurs I know are super generous with their time. So, and what Mike said at the start of the night, maybe we can get some mentors and that too, but sometimes don't be afraid to ask as well. Actually, because the worst thing they'll do is they'll find someone for you if they haven't got the time, because that's why they're great people, that's why they're entrepreneurs, that's why they're philanthropists. So, and a lot of those people cop a lot of flack. So for every bad one I've met, I met five really good ones. So we're gonna push through tonight. So that's my story. I only want you to take hopefully one thing out of the night, and it's me, because Brownie won't have much to offer later on. He's been talking all day. So congratulations on coming. We're up here later on, and you made that first step, and I hope you got one thing out of it, and I hope you enjoyed the speech. Thanks very much.